just don't get any younger.
They just sit on their asses and hope things settle themselves. Idiots.
War on Nerum. War on Kile. Red madness. The fuck is wrong with the world?
Yes?
Yeah, as if.
Walk blessed. I beg your pardon?
Work, work, work.
Wait. Again, from the beginning. By the righteous path. That I mean, the Guildmaster must learn of this at once. And, wait, what did you say these assassins look like? Huh. Was their armor all black? And did they speak a language that sounded like gibberish to you?
Jesus, why is that stuff so expensive?
Petrified. By Malthus. Well, this is worse than I expected. The hired killers, the best of their kind. Have you never heard of them? Well, apparently their temple, as they call it, or their headquarters, is on a small island called Milea, a deserted city. But now is not the time for history lessons. Whoever has enough money to hire the petrified is dangerous. Very dangerous.
Yeah, as if.
Work, work, work.
I don't like your tone. But if your life depends on it, no, it wasn't. And yes, I was afraid something might happen, but nothing like this. The entire caravan murdered. By the Seven, this is bad. As I said, Guildmaster DeLorean needs to learn about this. Did you find anything on the corpses? Documents, perhaps? Rhodos's amulet. Oh, by Malthus. DeLorean will not like this. Give it to me. The Guildmaster will want to have it. Give me back that letter. We have to make sure it doesn't fall into the wrong hands.
Jesus, why is that stuff so expensive?
Is that so? Well, fair enough. I think the circumstances are a good enough excuse. Here, take this. It's a paycheck, and you can hand it in at the bank. Now, excuse me, I have to make some arrangements. Oh, by the seven, this is not going to be pleasant. Yes? Walk blessed. Well, a bit of everything. Just look for yourself. Walk blessed. If only that man knew a thing.
Hmm?
We always go easy on the scum.
I've got just what a weary traveler needs.
Greetings.
Yes?
Walk blessed, my sir. How can Sylvan and friends serve you today?
Well, there comes a point when you just have to live with
You
it.
do? Let me have a look. Very well, this looks solid. We will add any future gains from this holding to your vault. Hello, how may I be of service? Penny pouches. So that old man found himself a new errand boy, did he? Show me. Yes, this looks solid indeed. Here is your money. Of course. Walk blessed. And don't forget, your money is safe with Sylvan and friends. Exceedingly.
Is it important?
Morale, spices, rugs, delicacies, only the best. Straight from Kile. Take a look. Farewell.
How may I be of service? Yes. Of course.
That's it. Hello.
Sure, take a look. Walk black. Greeting. Sure, take a look. Walk blessed.
May your path always...
Morale, spices, rugs, delicacies, only the best. Straight from Kile. Take a look. Farewell.
Vegetables. Bread fresh from the oven. Treat your... self.
Men, that's just how they are.
Looking for steel? Everything for the path-abiding soldier. Come again.
How may I be of service? Of course.
always be even.
Greetings.
Now, if it isn't the hero of the hour. Word of the stunt you pulled with those petrified got around. Mael Doloran himself wishes to see you. I strongly assume he's planning to hire you as a protector. Congratulations on that.
Now, a good pipe of peace, Wayne. Jesus, why is that stuff so expensive?
Oh, you did? I'm impressed. Particularly since he's the Grand Master of this guild. In the guild house, just on the other side of the street. Now hurry, he doesn't like to be kept waiting. If that's what snappy sounds like to you, maybe you should consider a change of profession. I heard the bathing house is still looking for harlots. Oh, there is no problem. At least not a problem that needs resolving. Let me put it this way. I'm impressed by how you, without a moment's hesitation, used the tragic events at the caravan site for your own advantage. But I guess that's just how this world works. Business is business.
Now, a good pipe of peace, Wayne.
Forget about it. You wouldn't understand even if I told you. Walk blessed.
Greeting.
Hungry for...
Mm-hmm.
Take a seat. Good. Thank you for coming. I'm Mael Doloran, by my path Guildmaster of the Golden Sickle. What is your name? Well met, I'll be frank. You're an outlander, and that makes you pathless. And I'm sure you know by now that the Golden Sickle is more than just a band of merchants. It's a citadel of traditional values in a time when they hardly exist anymore. Still, I believe that everyone has the right to prove themselves, pathless or not. And when you fought those assassins, you did just that, even though you were too late. So, as promised, I'll make it short. I want to promote you to the rank of Protector. It does. But the circumstances are anything but ordinary. That sounds just like him. You know, there were times when Mindalus was young and full of ideals. But his behavior these days continues to remind me that those times are long past. I suppose he thinks your promotion is unfair to the other recruits. But you're fit for the task. Even he should see that. How? With floors made of marble and statues of gold? This is not a brothel for nobles. It's a place of work. And in my experience, that kind of nonsense does one thing above all else: distract. The same as working for the trading post, only you will no longer have to waste your skills on running errands. You promise to honor the principles of the Golden Sickle, and to never act out against it or its members. In return, you will be granted a good pay and path-abiding honest work. Work that other Outlanders would give their left hand for, if I may say that. You don't have to be. You help the sickle when it needs help, and you get paid. That's it. Good. Can you read and write? Excellent. This contract contains what we expect from you in written form. Read it, sign it, and then we can start. Yes? Excellent. Then we can start right away. Are you ready for your first assignment as a protector?
Pipe of peace weed. Jesus, why is that stuff so expensive?
Before I tell you, I have to ask you something. Are you familiar with the Blue Islands Coalition? The Blue Islands Coalition is a league of powerful merchants from the belt of Killet. I take it you've heard about the civil war on Killet. It has been going on for 2 years now. Recently, the Council of Elders, which is made up of mostly wealthy merchants in Killet, succeeded in restoring rudimentary order. That is, if a dictatorship by those cutthroats can be called order.
Work, work, work.
Blasphemous rumors about the supposed death of the Lightborn. It's ridiculous when you say it out loud like that. But the Killayans never were a God-fearing people to begin with. I suppose some of the elders were behind those rumors. They wanted all the power for themselves, so they spread a rumor that the gods were dead, and that it was time for a new order to arise. At first it was just a few remaining servants of the Lightborn against the usurpers. Then the latter started turning on each other. Thousands of people died. Although the Killayans brought this upon themselves, it's still a tragedy. It affects trade. Since the Civil War, the prices for spices, cane sugar, and Kilayan cloth have exploded. And while some might profit from this, most merchants don't. But this situation should settle down now that the war is over, and it's not the topic of this discussion. I need you because some days ago an emissary of the Blue Islands Coalition arrived in Ark. Yes, but it's no ordinary visit. We'll talk of that later. I don't. But that's a different story. I want you to meet this emissary and give him this letter. It's a written invitation to come to the Guild's house for dinner. We are talking about a representative of one of the world's most powerful merchant guilds. This is not an ordinary errand.
Now, a good pipe of peace, mate.
Well, finding that out will be part of your job. But I suppose he's somewhere in that city where there are colorful clothes and shining jewels. Chileans are drawn to that kind of flashiness like children to sweets. Now go. Come back to me once you've delivered the message. You just have to work if you want to achieve something. It's just how it is.
Mm-hmm. A foreigner, huh? What a surprise.
I think I've seen you before, haven't I? You work for the Order. Do you know who those wild mages are?
Oh, hello. I haven't seen you around here before. Just take a look around and tell me if you see any. Oh, a bit of this and that. Feel free to take a look. Walk blessed.
Hungry for arcane secrets? I have books, scrolls, potions.
You're an outlander, aren't you? I can tell. Tywin Summerfield. By my path, accountant of Screws, Hats, Odds and Ends Incorporated. Even though I doubt the two of us have common ground, so to speak. Doesn't matter. Maybe I'm mistaken. You don't know this? How can I explain? We are an association of thinkers. Highly gifted thinkers of startling origin, to be precise. And Screws, Hats, Odds and Ends is our guild, to put it in worldly terms. Ah, and did I forget to mention that we are the #1 supplier of the Holy Order in terms of metalware and starling technology? Work? No. That is... Maybe yes. You do get around quite a lot, don't you? You certainly look like it. Fine then. I suppose it's worth a try. There is something in a person of your talents could come in handy. A grand-scale assignment we recently took on. One of our customers ordered replications of several Pyrean artifacts. A most exquisite wish, of course any of our people could fulfill. However, our current problem is that we still need many of those artifacts' originals to work with. If you could recover those originals for us, you would be generously rewarded. Here, these are some of the ruins that might be worthwhile visiting. Sorry, but this is none of your concern. Splendid. Come back once you've found something.
Yes, this is just like you, isn't it? This is you. I know I've said this 100 times before, but again, thank you for all this. To read these lines, it's as if she were here. Only for a moment, but still. I promise to compensate you for your efforts. I think I could teach you a thing or two about my craft, about locks. Or maybe I can give you a more general tip. What do you say?
You. Do you need something? I need some time for myself.
Yes, you should go into the Whisperwood and see what you can find in the old fortress. I'll wait for you in the Undercity, in my laboratory.
He no talk to Dul. He not bad. Talk to others. Emissary. He talk about the jam? The jam not here. The jam other place. Perhaps Dul can remember, but he needs to help his memory. Dul's memory old and full of holes. Like cheese.
Mead, stew, roast pork.
He right, but sailor life is rough, and the sea winds blow away thoughts just like that. Dul heard that pennies can help, but Dul not knows if true. Powerful man, but fine. Dul want no trouble. The jam went bathing in house with many waters. Go look there. He has what he came here for. Go now. Leave Dul alone.
My sir?
Monsieur?
It just doesn't work, Master, no matter how hard I try.
Yes?
And there you have the problem. You try.
I'm afraid I do not follow, Master.
Okay, I'll admit, it was a little cryptic. Tell me, do you remember the lecture Magister Diana gave last move?
Yes, I think I do. You mean the one she held a few days before that thing with Magister Yarrow happened?
That's just how they are.
Yes, exactly. Do you also remember how she described the workings of magic? The secret of it, if you will.
Wait. She said the key to magic is that... that... the Black Guardian, I forgot. I am sorry.
She said, the secret of magic is to see possibilities where there were none. Do you understand what she's trying to say with that, Tullius? The only reason we Arcanists can cast magic is because we see the world differently than other people. We don't conjure the fireball, the scorching air, the smoke. All of these are just some of the millions of shapes the here and now can take on. All you need to do is see the reality you need and transfer a part of it to ours. And this is what I mean by your problem is that you try. Everything you need to cast the spell was always here. It still is, and will always be. You only need to be the one who brings it into our reality. The scrolls, the hand signs, those are just a means to help you with that. Now look.
She smiles into the desert moon.
Do you see it? The fountain, the water particles, the sudden acceleration in that one particular moment. They were always here. I was only the one who brought them together, in this reality, and in this very moment.
I think I understand.
If this were the case, you would be a more gifted mage than the Grand Master Aranthiel was in his Nova case. But you will understand with enough work and tenacity. Now come on, let's go back to the temple. You've done well today.
Oh, yes.
My Sir Gunjar,
Sensual and sweet as sin, their bodies touch my tender skin. Oh, yummy. Tastes like cherries.
Well, that's good to hear.
Lo,
Listen,
how their bosoms make me languish, and leave my poet's hearts in anguish. Excretion between darkness and light. Advance the fleet! Always forward! Always forward! Forward for the glory and honor! The spears at the ready, driving the swords into the bodies.
Walk blessed. Has my sir come to indulge in the hot springs of the Larkses? Or is my sir simply looking for a place to forget about life's daily sorrows? In either case, he will be required to pay a toll of 57 pennies. Unfortunately, a man with such a name is not known to me.
Let him in. I'll pay.
My dame, you should cover yourself.
Let's talk downstairs, shall we? I want to indulge in these beautiful springs for as long as I can. As far as I know, yes. Dija Monelis, daughter of Joran, emissary of the Blue Islands Coalition, and newcomer to this wonderful city. But let's save the introductions for later, shall we? It's cold up here. It does. Come on down. What is it? Are you coming? Depends on the business, I guess. So, I take it you're the welcoming party from the Sickle, am I right? I was told someone would contact me as soon as we landed, but for the past 2 days, no one has. I thought I might as well take a look around the city. Even though this city has certainly seen better days, at least according to the gossip. Red madness, lost ones in the forests, crazed brigands. Phew!
That's just how they are.
I'm sure they have their reasons. I have. But I've been warned that this Deloran is a... how shall I say? A complicated character. I'm important, and I'll let you feel just how important by letting you wait. But who cares? Once an idiot, always an idiot.
Just where did I put it?
Now, aren't you curious? But fine, why not? We want to buy an artifact from the Sickle. An ancient and powerful one. One of unmatched value. 2 golden testicles from a Vatir, each of them weighing 3 pounds. Sorry, I just had to. Jokes aside, I would be a bad merchant if I went around gossiping with confidential information, wouldn't I? Don't take it personally. Show me. Formal supper in the guild's house with Deloran himself. Oh my, this is going to be an evening full of jesting and good humor. You can tell Deloran I'll be there. Thanks for delivering the message. Charming.
Ah, one more thing before you go. You're Enderal. I've heard that accent before, but I just can't put my finger on it. Where are you from?
Of course, that was it. And how is it that a traveler like you is now running errands for the Golden Sickle? Uh-huh. Anyway, good luck with whatever you do next. Ah, and if you're in the mood for it, apparently there's a Chilean minstrel group in this city, and they perform in the tavern just next to the bathing house. I'll stay there for the time being, and I wouldn't mind a good chat. Now, aren't you subtle? Then walk blessed, as people here like to say.
Yes?
potatoes, garlic, radish. That should be it. I think I've seen you before, haven't I? You work for the Order. Hello. Those wild mages up in the temple are. I mean, sure, if the Grand Master trusts them, who am I to make his decision? But still, I don't know.
What?
Dark as the sun.
Work.
Put that.
Keep walking.
Fine vintage. Good pint of peace, man.
No, look at that. You came. Didn't think you would. So, what's your take on this contemporary sample of Chilean dancing?
Oh well. The best wine in all of Enderal. Come, give it a try.
You think so? I've seen better, but she's not bad, that's true. Anyway, how about a sip of wine? Rounds are on me. Come, take a seat.
Hello.
So, before we move on to more pleasant topics, there is one thing I need to get off my chest first. I heard of the, paper chase you had to go through to find me. I know, he's pulled that stunt on others before. He speaks perfect Nail, by the way. That whole "I'm only stupid Chilean" thing is part of the act. In that sense, thanks for teaching him a lesson. It was overdue. But anyway, tell me, what brought you here? Just where exactly from Nerim are you from? I'm curious. That's why I asked. Yeah, I know what you mean. You know, this is precisely why I find it so interesting that so many people accuse us Chileans of being greedy or dishonorable. I mean, just take a look around. Are the other nations of the civilized world really so much better? We've got Nerim, which was recently split into 3 and devastated by 3 madmen. I don't need to tell you about that. Then there's Kira, with its fabled free thinking in universities. But every 2 weeks, there's a new attempt at revolution with at least 3 dozen corpses. And don't get me started on Arctwind, Arazael, or this place. What I'm trying to say is, yes, there's poverty on the Blue Islands, on Chile, and yes, there are problems. But we are free. Neither Morala nor the Elder Council tell us what to do, and no matter how dire the circumstances you're born into, life is what you make of it. So it's basically the opposite of this excuse for a country. Anybody can become rich, famous, or, if they want to, live an eremite's life on the beach. As long as they can go through with it. Then sure, there are exceptions. But in my experience, those who never made it brought it on themselves. Then now you're here, working as a protector for one of the most influential merchant guilds of the civilized world. Because you wouldn't surrender to what other people tried to sell you as your fate. You know, I know what it means to have to fight for something. Unlike that snot DeLorean, I wasn't born with a bag of gold stuffed up my ass. But instead of wallowing in self-pity or listening to the priests talk about how everything gets better once you're dead, I took responsibility for my own fate. If a dust-sniffing loser as a father and a clump-footed, half-witted brother qualify as not exactly noble, then yes. I don't want to talk about it. Was. Merciful as the gods were, they blessed him with a deadly fever at the age of 10. Probably better that way. An addict and a failure. Do you know the kind of person who does nothing all day long but whine about how unfair the world is? Take that and throw in 2 sacks of droge and there you have him. Geran O'Neillis. My esteemed creator, and one of the reasons I spent most of my childhood eating dust and insects for breakfast. It was. I have, and I'm only getting started. You should see them, all these losers who I grew up with. Yes, they were dealt a tough hand, but instead of grabbing fate at its throat, they just went through their lives with their heads bowed and nodding at everyone. I'll never understand how people can be that way. Anyway, let's not go further into this. You said your mother was Chilean, wasn't she? Are you planning to go back one day? Return to your roots, so to speak? Pity. It's a beautiful place, really. The forests, the great falls, the beaches, Unil Yar. No, well, I'm getting nostalgic. I'd say we make a cut here, shall we? It's late and I should see how my crew is doing. It was a pleasure, Protector. Until next time.
The best wine in all of Enderal. Come, give it a try. Hello. Figured as much. What do you want? Safe travels.
No, wait. Say that again. Oh, by the name of the sun! You're Neremaze, aren't you? And even better, you're from Ostian. Oh, by the now deceased 7 gods. What brings you here? To Enderal, I mean.
Just don't respect the elders anymore. Not at all.
Work. Indeed, I am. And before you ask, I fled, just as you probably did. Even though the artist inside of me loves the chaos, the family man doesn't. At least not enough that he would risk the life of his family. And well, now here I am. By the face of time, what a dull place this is. The people here, this endless rambling about the path and Malthus. I would have never thought the Order could actually succeed in keeping the truth about the Lightborn's death from the people so long. But in a place like this, that problem pretty much solves itself, it seems. The people here are so obstinate. I was surprised to find out they do not still pray to a Satyron. The Forbidden Book? Don't hold it against me, but I'd rather keep quiet about that. Maybe ask that librarian, Marius. He always struck me as the free-spoken type. Oh, my friend. If I were to tell you this, what reason would you have for my services? Secret of the trade. Oh yes, that I am. Painter of the black powder, the fiery moments, one could say. In Narim I could make a living from that. But in this country, my art is not exactly acknowledged. Safe travels.
Well, aren't you quite straightforward? Most people wouldn't dare ask. I'm a half Quirian, as you've probably guessed, but I grew up here. If I may say so, there's something foreign about you as well. Ah, a Nerimese, a rare sight these days. I'd like to ask what brought you here, but the innkeeper will cut my pay for each minute I don't play music.
Malphus blessings, monsieur. Are you looking for something to read? Malphus blessings, monsieur. Are you looking for something to read?
My
friend. Good the peace, mate.
They just don't respect me. Not at all.
Hello. Honest answer? Bad. Since this whole red madness thing started, the roads aren't safe to travel anymore. At least, not for those who don't have the coin to pay an armed escort. And that's most of us merchants. But, well, you scratch along somehow, don't you? As long as people eat and the farmers deliver, I'll have customers. I really shouldn't complain so much. What, you're asking me? I'm flattered. But let me think. You know, my grandfather always used to read to us from this old book, Myths and Legends. I think one of the former Archmagisters of the Order wrote it, and there were all kinds of tales about those mythical creatures that apparently roam Enderal. Grandpa always said they were just tales, but who knows? You should go to the library. Maybe they still have a volume of that book there.
Good pipe of peace, mate.
Come back
Why is that
anytime.
stuff so expensive?
Monsieur.
Oi, you're a traveller, aren't you, my son? Just a few words of friendly advice. Keep away from the Dark Valley. That place was a bloody boneyard before. But word has it almost half of the corpses there have started walking again.
But that's how it is. Life is what you make of it.
A foreigner, huh? Well, you've chosen a strange time to visit this country.
Work, work, work.
Malphus blessings, monsieur. Are you looking for something to read?
I just don't respect the elders anymore. Not at
Huh?
all.
Now look at that. It's the prodigy.
Now look at that. Someone who's actually interested in us as people, rather than in our knowledge about the Pyreans. But it's your lucky day. I really wouldn't mind a good talk right now. Hold on a second. Arizalian brandy. Vintage 8214. What do you say? A glass and a good talk? There are a couple of things I wanted to ask you anyway. All right then. When I hear you say that, I don't regret for a second that I never came back to Ostian. Even though I've thought about it from time to time. Wow. Finally, someone who says it up front. Yeah, I've got some Scarag blood in me, though comparably little in regards to how much it shows. My grandfather, he used to serve in the South Realms Marines. And one day they captured a ship of Scarag raiders, some of them women. Stories say he fell in love with one of them, and yeah, you can connect the dots. But to answer your original question, yes, I'm from Ostian. Though we fled the city around 10 years ago. The right choice, as I probably don't need to tell you. The temple was always a bunch of fanatical fuckheads, but that bastard High Priest Janus gave the word butcher an entirely new meaning. I know, and nah, I hardly know anything about her. Only that they were raiders and that she fled about 2 years after giving birth to me. Poor Grandpa. You should have seen how people reacted to the way I looked. Even as a kid, they always looked at me and my almond-shaped eyes as if they were expecting me to pull out a skull fetish any second and start putting curses on anyone in the vicinity. Maybe. Warriors of the Creator. War against the infidels. The Creator's children don't even sugarcoat how radical their faith is anymore. And still, so many people join their ranks. It's fucking insane. But then again, I guess that's religion for you. Don't think for yourself anymore. Let someone else do it for you. At least it was for my brother. I had. He was about 15 years older than me, and was always a troubled child. Rakul. That was his name. You know, my family was very wealthy before we fled. Drapers for generations. The best in Ostian. I suppose that's why my father expected so much from Rakul, since I, as a woman, wouldn't have been allowed to take over the business when my father would have retired. But Rakul, he just wasn't made out for it, you know? He was shy and introverted, and never had a hand for money. I can't remember how often Father told him that he was a disgrace to the family. You can call it that, yes. Looking back, I think the temple only gave him what Father wouldn't. A perspective. The feeling of being needed. He spent almost all of his time in the temple after his conversion, and knew the entire Rania, their holy scripture, by heart. Well, in one day, he announced that simply attending the masses wasn't enough anymore. He would join the temple's warriors. Come on. My brother wasn't the only young man with a difficult past. That's no excuse for anything. Of course, my father is to blame too, but the real culprits are these bastards called preachers who exploit the vulnerability of people like him and indoctrinate them with their fucking bullshit. And once that's done, they send them to fight for their holy causes. In other words, their own interests, like pawns on a chessboard. And if they die, then they call it a fucking honor. I'm sorry, my dame. Your youngest son just died. But don't worry, he's in a better place now, eating grapes and drinking honey. What solace, isn't it? Now, do you have any other neglected children for us? We're running short on material. Damn it, I hate those bastards. I just hate them so much. He was slaughtered, hacked into pieces by Chancellor Baratheon's cavalry. That was before the peace treaty. I'd be surprised if they taught him what end of a lance to stab with before they sent him into the field. But, well, I guess that answers the question you asked me up in the temple, doesn't it? I was sick of seeing people using religion for their own ends. Creator, Lightborn, the Great Spirit. Same shit, different name. And you know what? No matter how much chaos the death of the gods caused, I don't regret being a part of it, not in the least. It was the right thing to do. Anyway, I'd say we call it quits for now, okay? It was good talking to you, but I'm dying for a nap. Take care.
The best wine in all of Enderal. Come, give it a try.
Huh? Keep walking.
Midnight.
You're a foreigner, aren't you? I wish I'd have crossed the Red Sea once. Or seen
You're
the Grand
an outlander,
Bazaar.
aren't you? From Kilei. Your
Hello.
skin, it looks, different.
Forward for the glory.
Yes? What are you doing here?
The spears at the ready, driving sword. It's the bodies. The same play. Day after day.
Oh, I just
Hymn of the desert.
Mm-hmm.
Yes? Yes? She? Oh, wonderful. That changes a lot.
Work.
Not if they understand the meaning of responsibility and discipline. And unfortunately, that's not the norm. Now you'll get your pay. Go talk to Penny Pouches. I will contact you if your services are needed once again, which will most likely be very soon. Farewell. There's one more thing. This Dijon. What's your take on her?
Yeah.
I will be.
That's
Thank
just
you.
how it is.
Now go. You'll hear from me. You just have to work if you want to achieve something. It's just how
Hello.
it is.
Come back anytime.
Oh, of course. Your pay for having a chit-chat with that woman. Here, I think that is more than enough. Well, aren't you the eager one? Does all that money whet your appetite? But no, not at the moment. Oh, hang on. You know a thing or two about beating up people, don't you? Well, there might be something. Landlord Boric recently complained about rats in his granary, and we agreed to send him a ratter. That would be a job for you, wouldn't it? South from Boric's
Master
farm.
Penny Pouches?
You just have to...
Guildmaster DeLorean sent me. It's about this new protector. Do you know where he is? Oh, of course, sorry. It's just... I didn't know what you looked like. Master DeLorean wishes to see you, my sir. At once, he said. It seemed to be something important.
Why? What's this about? The caravan?
Forgive me, my sir, but I don't know. Master DeLorean asked explicitly for the new protector.
Uh-huh. Then it seems someone else has to take care of the rats. Off you go. The Guildmaster doesn't like to be kept waiting.
Walk west.
The light fades away at the end of the day. Ta-dum-dum.
As I said, without samples, I just can't say, my sir. I am sorry.
I understand. Thank you for your time.
You're welcome. I'm sorry I don't have better news.
There you are. Thank you for coming so quickly. Look for yourself. Yes? Rhodus Trevian. I still remember when he was first hired in the trading post. Similar to the way you were. Do you remember him? He led the caravan that was ambushed by those assassins. Rhodus was an urchin child from the Undercity. But unlike the others, he chose to fight his way out of his misery. Eventually, he made it into the Sickle. He was a disciplined, honest young man. Yet despite all his ambition, he never sought to surpass his path. As I said, his career was hard not to notice. He never let the Sickle down, not once. He was a good person, always striving, yet with deep respect for tradition. There aren't many young people like that these days. I still remember when I granted him the Sickle's badge, 4 winters ago. He was so proud. I know it was you that brought it back to the trading post. I think it would have meant a lot to him, knowing that it isn't rotting somewhere in the desert sands. Suffice it to say, there has been a disquieting development. We've found traces of poison in some of the corpses. Traces of Chilean poison. The petrified are sellswords, pathless and despicable people. But in the end, they are weapons, tools. So the question we have to ask ourselves is, who sent them? You say that so lightly. I think it's about time you learn the whole truth about this cooperation between us and the Chileans. The reason the Blue Island Coalition is here is a bargain. Have you ever heard of the Green Scarabaeus, the idol of Morala? The goddess of Chile, yes. The Scarabaeus is made of a very rare gem that makes it one of the most valuable jewels in the civilized world. Well, as you might have figured, it was originally a Chilean who possessed it. Ralius Davul, to be precise, the founder of the Blue Island Coalition himself, and at that time, one of the richest men on Ven. Yes. I will spare you the details of how that came to be, but be assured that it was the result of hard and path-abiding work, something that is foreign to those dark-skinned cutthroats. However, the Blue Island Coalition contacted us about 6 moons ago, shortly after the Chilean Civil War was over. They want to buy the idol from us. A big one. Let's leave it at that. It is. To be honest, if circumstances were different, I would have never agreed. The fact that the Chileans, in all their greed, were forced to sell the symbol of their own goddess is almost an allegory for the way of living. But I suppose you also know that our country, Enderal, has seen better times. And, of course, all those unfortunate developments in the past years have affected the Sickle, too. And before you ask, it is not as if we have to fear for our existence. But there are certain expenses we simply have to cover. In other words, we need the money. Yes. Have you ever been to the Undercity? The house of the apothecari? The pest house, as it is lovingly called. The sickle maintains it. And with the current economical situation, we might be forced to shut it down soon. We do our duty. That the sickle respects the righteous path is not just some dull phrase. And from this day, this land shall be your new home, and the threads of which Enderal's future shall be woven rest in your hands. Book 12, verse 93. Being of righteous path also means taking responsibility for society as a whole. Rhoda certainly helped me see the Undercity with different eyes, yes. But that's not all. Yes. You are. It was foolish. But we thought a regular caravan would be less likely to draw attention. It was a mistake. I'm responsible for many good men and women that are now dead, including Rhodas. But be that as it may, we owe it to them to find the one who did this. And if the Blue Island Coalition really is behind it, then... You're right, but we have to be sure. Correct. We have to reconstruct the poison, and that's why I need you. It's called Dural Van, and it's made of 3 substances: Netherland thistles, dust maggot stingers, and dawnflower extract. According to the apothecarius, the thistles can be found in Golden Forest, and the stingers anywhere in the Powder Desert. Dawnflowers don't grow in Enderal, so you might have to try your luck with one of the traveling merchants in Duneville. Here, this should cover your expenses. And you have my word. If you help the sickle in this matter, your reward will be generous. That's an admirable attitude. Here's a list of the ingredients. This should be self-evident, but still. Not a single word to the Kalayans, understood? Rash accusations without any evidence to back it up could prove, disastrous. Good luck, Protector. What about him? My relationship? What do you mean by that? Substitute son? By the righteous path, you say what is on your mind, I'll give you that. But truth be told, it's a welcome change from all those bootlickers who I usually deal with. Rhodas, he, You know, if I take a look at this world as it is these days, I see so many things going wrong. Hardly anyone still respects the righteous path, save for the usual verbiage. And for some reason, they all believe they deserve a good life without having to work for it. When I grew up, it was different. Yes, I was born a sublime, But I grew up knowing that our entire life is a trial. Walking the righteous path. It is a struggle, and it requires effort and discipline. Rhoda saw that. He kept on going despite his fate. In a way, he was the living proof that virtue and true path abidingness are not tied to condition, so to speak. But that doesn't mean I treated him any differently, and he would not have expected me to either. Whoever hired these sellswords will pay, no matter the price. Yes?
Now, a good pipe of peace weed. Blazes, why is that stuff so expensive? The light fades away at the end of the day. Ta-dum-dum.
Some ships never.
What? Oh well, the venerable Sunchild graces us with its presence. Come to gawk at the people worse off than you.
and always remember the tale that struck me in the hearts of so many. Summer it was, the day had just broken when
A penny, my son. Please, just one penny.
most unspoken. Sleep, sweet child, close your eyes. The ravens come to claim its prize. Can you hear his wings in the night? Hush, my darling, don't you fight. Do you cry? Oh, what for? You'll be free forevermore. Step out of your flesh, float higher and higher. Your sins will.
There you are. I was beginning to wonder whether you got cold feet. What? No, on the contrary. Even though us voices have a lot of privileges within the Relata, we're still under constant observation, just like the Scions and the Acolytes. If I were to leave town without any reason, that would raise more suspicion than just dropping off the grid for a couple of hours down here. Well, that's the plan. But as I said, we will have to discuss a couple of things first. And please listen carefully, even if it sounds boring. If we blow our cover, then it will not just be the end of our plan, but also the end of the two of us. So, the Ralata has a holy scripture called the Ralas, or the Book Out of the Ashes. Its verses are the commandments of every Ralaim. It affects you because there are a couple of rules that you have to abide by once we're inside the temple. To infringe them is a crude sign of disrespect, and no mercenary who values his life would do that. In other words, if we want nobody to get wind of our plan, you'll need to fit in. Number 1, never talk to an acolyte, or voice, or seer if they don't address you first. As a mercenary, you're at the bottom of the hierarchy, on one level with the Scions. By their garments, Scions wear plain robes, and sometimes hoods. Acolytes wear the purple robes of the Relata with their distinctive sun pattern. Seers wear similar robes, only more ornate. Voices wear the same armor that I wear. Rule number 2, wear this, or a helmet, whenever you enter the temple. The Relata detests the display of the body, as all corporeality. Nobody will attack you if you enter the temple unveiled, but it will make people suspicious. And finally, rule number 3, do not openly talk about the Father. It's considered blasphemy. You most likely won't see him before the expedition anyways. There are a lame down there that have been committed to the Relas for 20 years now, and never saw him in person. It binds us to the physical plane. How would I know? It's a rule, and we all know how much religious people love following rules without questioning them. I'm sure the Father had his reasons. I guess I saw him more than once as he experimented on my body as a child, but if you're referring to my time at the Relata, yes, I have. Different. A lot more different from how you would probably picture him. Yeah, one more thing. In case the first seer asks, you contacted me, not the other way around. You heard the rumor that the Father is looking for the lost pages, and a man named Rezio Daran gave you the tip about Carlian. You then contacted me in the false dog, and we went to get the pages together. Either way, enough of the talking. I informed the First Seer of our coming, and like any sleeper, you will be tested by another voice in front of the temple. A person who hasn't seen the truth yet. In other words, everybody who's not a Relame. Follow me.
Mind your own fucking business.
And Orbulus, my son.
Hello.
Please. The Lord will redeem you for your kindness. Orbulus, my son. Please. The Lord will redeem you for your kindness.
Oh shit. I have to remember that.
Boring. Yes.
Hey! You're an adventurer, aren't you? Have you been to... oh, how do they say it? Melee? My dad told me that's where the petrified live.
Some people just don't... bloody wench thinks she's Fata incarnate.
My sir, you look as though you have a kind heart. Please, spare a penny for me. Just one.
All right, almost there.
Move along.
Hard work pays off. Yeah, right.
Yeah, as if.
Should have just paid his shadow tax. Well, some people never learn.
Yes.
Brother Sorrow?
Brother Wrath. From ashes to blood. From blood to liberation. Is this the sleeper?
Yes.
He knows the rules?
Of course.
Good. Hold still. Interesting. You may enter.
Thank you, brother.
Father's blessings.
Well, that was strange. This man, he wasn't just any voice. He was the father's right hand, Brother Sorrow. Good question. Let's just stay on our guard. I know. He's always been like that. But don't underestimate him. This man is a monster. I once saw him fight 4 thugs at once who thought it was a good idea to rob a voice of the father. He decapitated one of them, broke another one's face, and cut down the remaining 2 with a single swing of his sword. Most Relaim do. Complete veiling isn't required, but it's considered a sign of religious devotion. Ah, right. The short version, once you devote your life to the Relas, you need to take on a new name. The name of your biggest vice in your life before the awakening. Relaim always call each other by their new names, but we voices often use our dead names in the outside world. Every emotion is a weakness. Joy, greed, lust, scorn. According to the Relas, everything that is human is another obstacle on the way to transcendence. Hardly. Most people don't like talking about their lives before the Relata. Yes.
Rialta Shara.
Pity. He was a good man. Observe, don't feel.
They will never understand, brother. You should stop agonizing over it.
My family.
Wrong. They were. You are Ralaim now, and transcendence is near. So we are the only family we need. So just burn these letters, meditate, and perform your duties. Now isn't the time to stray from the Ralas.
First Seer. From ashes to blood, from blood to liberation.
Ah, Brother Wrath. Is this our visitor?
Yes, First Seer. He helped me find the lost pages.
Interesting. Show me. Interesting. Tell me, how did you know that the Father is looking for these? And how did you meet Brother Wrath? Also through your contact? is indeed. Well then, I am Brother Longing, or to you, the First Seer. I assume Brother Wrath promised you a reward for these.
I have 300 pennies.
Good. Then go up to the tower and talk to Sister Envy. She will pay you. Brother Wrath, will you escort our guest back outside?
If that is your wish, then yes, First Seer.
What do you mean by that?
I was thinking... irrelevant. Father's blessings, First Seer. Thank you for your time.
Speak.
Well, the expedition. You said that the father ordered you to find capable mercenaries. Treasure hunters.
I understand. You think he'd be a fitting candidate? I failed to see any magical talent in him, however. Why do you think he could be of use to us? We have enough leg breakers already.
Fair point, First Seer. I'm sorry.
Fine then. We actually have enough mercenaries already, but you seem to be more capable than the scum that usually runs the Undercity's alleys. However, before I recommend you to the Father, I want you to prove yourself. Brother Greed. Sister Pride, is she still in the Light Grove? Good. Then escort this man into the Dark Valley. I want you to kill someone for us. Sister Pride. A voice who has betrayed us. Bring me her heart, and I'll consider recommending you to the Father. An expedition will be taking place soon, and we are still looking for capable mercenaries. Correct. She fled into a cave, probably hoping that we wouldn't find her there. Brother Greed will show you the way. Good luck. And you, Brother Wrath, will stay. There is something we need to discuss.
Just a scratch. Lucky. just a scratch. Ha! Like the bite of a flea.
16th of the Conquering, 8233. I'm going crazy. I'm going crazy, and they all know. They know, but they act like they don't. But what can I do? It's not my fault. I didn't want to be this way. I didn't. I need to think. Think and pray. It will get better. It will. Who are you? No, wait. Don't say anything. You're my punishment, aren't you? You're here to kill me. The faces. I just couldn't bear them any longer. I couldn't. None! At first, I thought it would pass, you know? That it's just a disease, like the fever. But it didn't. It only got worse. First this strangeness. Then the faces. This feeling that I wasn't myself. That Sister Pride, Nessa, is only a puppet who thinks she is real. Me, my name, before the father showed me the Ralas. It started 2 years ago. Sometimes, when I talk to people, their faces began to run off. Like color. Like wax. At first I thought I was ill, so I drank grunt root every day, but it never got better. Only worse. Everything started to melt. First the nose, then the eyes, then the mouth, until there was nothing left but a smooth, egg-shaped piece of skin. No, of course not. Because nobody could find out. Had they found out,
then the Father would have left me behind on the Day of Transcendence. And I couldn't let that happen. Don't you understand? I couldn't. Yes, it doesn't help with the strangeness. But at least I don't have to see faces anymore. Why? Because I was weak. Angry and weak. I thought, if only I fled far away from the Father, then the faces would return. But they didn't. Of course they didn't. Because I was the problem to begin with. My faith was too weak. My devotion to the Ralas too little. And that is why I need to die. I finally accepted it. Everything. All this time, I was a bad Ralaim. I sinned. Again and again. I succumbed to my body, just as the sleepers do. And it corrupted my mind. I don't want to talk about it. Of course you don't. Because you're a sleeper. But didn't the Father tell you to? No, there isn't. And even if there were, I wouldn't want it. This is my punishment. The punishment for my weakness. And if I had the courage, I would have already ended it myself. If you want to help me, then help me sleep. And make it painless.
Damn you! Ha! Like the bite of a flea. Just a scratch. Lucky hit. Just a scratch.
First of the Golden Moon, 8233. I can't bear it any longer. Father, Malphas, Fate, or whoever is listening, save me, or I will break. I will run, far away from this temple. Far away. Somewhere where nobody knows me, and where nobody sees me, and where I see nobody. Forgive me, Father. I need to leave, or I will break. First of the gold. Forgive me.
Just a scratch.
Seventh of the Fundament, 8233. Father, hear my prayer. Make me see them again. Make me see them. It's driving me crazy. I want out. Out of the caves. Anywhere where there are no people. I want to be normal again. But I don't want to betray you, Father. Relata Shira, you gave me life. So what should I do? Seventh of the